Alright, fam. In an honor to honor myself, um, you know, and I want to surrender to, like, me. I don't know. I don't like this game, really, being perceived certain ways and, like, trying to become. And certainly, like, every video that I've made prior is, like, lessons that I've needed to tell myself in states of being that, like, embodying, like, states of being that align me. And I think there's two ways. It's like I've been wanting to be the leader, but also surely, like, my journey, my healing, and, like, my own insecurities. And, like, in honor of, like, what I continuously say is, like, accepting where you are fully, letting go of any resistance. And, like, I say that all the time because, like, I am continuously resisting where I am and, like, embodying, like, I have a few insecurities, and, like, ultimately it's like I don't feel as though, like, I'm worthy of the next phase of my life and, like, the woman that I want to bring into my life, let's say, until I'm making the money that I need to make. Or, yes, I know it sounds superficial and it's, like, embarrassing to say, but the car that I drive a shitty van. But, like, I also don't, like, I don't even know if I'm gonna release this video because, like, I don't want to be perceived, because I'm not a victim and I know this is where I need to be. But there's two sides of it, because, like, on the unknown phase or side, it's like there is that fear that creeps up, the devil, the fear, the beliefs, the objections, and then, like, there is that divine sense. And, like, I maybe there is value in this, and maybe somebody will get value from this, but also too, it's like not embody, like, I certainly don't want pity, because this is exactly where I need to be, and I'm grateful, and I know that the bridge to, like, building a life that I want to live comes with risk. And ultimately, just to, like, share the reality is, I've risked everything that I fucking have, and I honestly do not know. I don't know if it's gonna work, and that scares me. On the other hand, I've spent a lot of money learning from people and building systems, but I haven't figured out a successful system yet. Therefore, I almost feel like a fraud in, because part of my identity that I've created is, like, an entrepreneur, an online entrepreneur, and I feel like I haven't mastered that yet. And then I always feel like, if you'll notice in videos too, I always, like, need to say the real estate or this and that to, like, prove it to you guys or myself that I'm worthy, because I do have the backbone of the real estate. Certainly I don't think I would be able to do this if I wasn't living in my own property, because I wouldn't feel confident enough with, like, the negativity or the negative opinions. But, like, yeah, guys, like, I am in $30,000 of credit card debt. I don't want to tell you guys that. That is fucked. And, like, bad debt goes against my ethos. But I will say too, like, there is that fear and that lingering fear. And it's like there is melancholy energy in this video. But also, if you go back to other videos too, like, I do have reverence in, like, the skills and just the aptitude for the decision making that I have, because I extended every other resource, and I I did have an 800 credit score, and I do have $100,000 over in credit limit, and like I know the risk, and like I know that going all in is really what bridges that gaps, and I know the lion behind you is really what makes it work, and what makes you take that extra action, and what makes you really align fully when you have no other resources, and like when you're not dependent on other people. And what I will say too is like I'm also having like, certainly too, I want to share my mindset and my beliefs, and like, if I'm gonna be honest, like this past year of fucking building, no job, just building, certainly working on my property, dealing with other things, but like building this and experimenting, like near a year, and we're still building, we're still embodying, like we're still haven't figured out a system that is cut and dry. And I'm gonna tell you, like, I really haven't particularly enjoyed any of it, to be honest. It's like I'm just longing for that moment where like I'm out of debt, where I have some cash again, where I have systems that I've finally figured out that work, and that I do, and I can't neglect the potent relationships that I've created with the clients that I do have, and I know that this development of the lessons that I've learned is like, me putting intention in my heart into, these videos, and then also like into the next phase of business. But it's just like I've almost forgot why I wanted to do all this. Like the reason I wanted to do all this and create this freedom is to do the things I love, like dirt bike, go snowboarding, like, connect, adventure. And it's like I neglected realizing like the investment in those things at a time where I was able, like, would have been just as valuable. And to also play off that is like, the whole notion of like I really haven't enjoyed any of it, but like I also know this is exactly what I need to be doing, because I know I can with wholehearted conviction tell you that the superpower that I have is I just continue to get up after falling. And it's just like also too like this notion of just like realizing, and I was just watching a movie, it was Before You Go with Chris Evans, and it reminded me of like a similar experience that I had, and also too like just realizing of like what I really want to be doing is like I've put so much of my identity and my worth into like, okay, when I'm making consistent income, like with something that I've created, separate of my real estate, that really doesn't count because that just covers expenses. But it's like I know no decision is bad. No matter what happens, nothing is good or bad. It's all systems, and if ultimately if you never give up, you'll never fail. But I just know that like if I can, like I just know that I have what it takes. But I also, maybe I'm saying that because I fear that I don't have what it takes also, because I'm just like, it's almost like you're just waiting for that moment. And then also too, like neglecting what I really, it's just like none of it, your identity doesn't need to be tied to these things. Like I feel like I'll be the person that I want to become when I'm, have a different car, that's why I tied so much identity my identity and was like attached to, you know, let's say somebody that I loved, it's just like I attach my identity to that. But regardless of that too, like, you know, the car, and then getting out of debt, like the credit card debt. Obviously I have good debt with the property, that pays for itself, but like this debt, and I still consider this debt good debt because like it's allowed me to leverage and gain these skills. And like, so I, again, generally speaking, it's don't do anything on a credit card, but like if you have a very specific case, like I'm not saying don't do it, because if you know you have what it takes, but there's that risk of just like you don't know. But also too, like, and then when I have cash again and I'm like making money, and it's like I don't feel like I'm worthy of like a, let's say, a partner, or like I'm very closed off in this moment, like I don't open my heart, and and it's like realizing like my real main goal, and like separate of all this, is like, and I know I need to be saying this too, is like I need to detach my identity from that, because like, and I need to open my heart, and because like all this stems from fear and like believing I'm less than or whatever. And it's like, you know, a few months ago I recently, you know, basically lost somebody that I love, and I had never really lost anybody close to me, and I've been very emotional lately, and like, you know, in times of solitude, like crying a lot. And you know, when I see certain videos and stuff like that, I get emotional, or like hear certain songs, and it's just so peaceful almost, and so beautiful. And it's just like, that's, you know, and I was watching these YouTube, and it's just like the potency of that stuff, and I was just like realizing like, forget all my identity, and I forget this identity and this fakeness. It's just like the potency of just opening your heart, and like realizing that we're human, and just like bridging that gap and that divide. And I guess that's what I'd say is like, you know, even when I have that stuff, I'm gonna be no more than I am now, or no more than you. And it's just like, you know, I mean, this is the realist, you know. But then it's like, you know, it's almost scary to say this stuff. Is just like I'm putting it out there that like haven't figured it out. I am not fully embodying the identity that I want to become. But it's like, but I need to go back to what I say all the time. It's when I accept myself fully. In this moment, I bridge that gap. Surrender to money, to finances, to all of that. Have reverence for how fucking far I've come, and how much risk I've taken, and how much knowledge that I've gained, and just like how many relationships I've cultivated. And surely like all this is, I am not a victim, and this is exactly where I need to be. And like all this is mending and blending into just like, to just something concrete. And but I guess I'm saying this too, and there's like a melancholy vibe of like, you know, number one, it's like scary to say this, because I'm like admitting that, you know, I'm not where I want to be, and I'm risk heavy, and I'm scared that if income doesn't come soon, that I will have to pivot and give up. But then it's also like, this lion is actually what, you know, makes you face these things, makes you face the necessary steps. So I have reverence and conviction for where I am, how far I've come, and for the uncertainty. And just like opening my heart, like fuck that identity of just like the, you know, I am whole as is. That's what I teach. It's like, I'm just sharing things that I have to tell myself. It's like, become boxless. Don't tie my worth to this, man. And it's like, I'm sharing it right now. I'm fucking scared. I'm scared, you know. But I'm not a victim. I know this is where I need to be. And it's like, yeah. And it's a very odd dynamic too. My living situation is like, I own this property, but it really is for my mom and my brothers. And like, I don't like feel, like I wouldn't have a girlfriend here, or like I just don't feel I'm in that, obviously financially, like I need to create income. Like I don't want to be like, yeah, and I'm it's just a very odd dynamic. Like, okay, I'm even scared to like say this stuff, but it's like, even this property, like I don't feel like, the next phase of like the embodiment of business and life and creation and cultivation is like me separate, just so I can heal my own chains. But again, it's a little different in the sense of like, it's not like, because this is, my property, but also, so it's not like, living in the basement of your parents, you're not doing that, like, even though I do live in the basement, so it is kind of funny. But like, I just feel like, the embodiment of like that free flowingness and like the open heartedness is like going to take place when I can detach and heal more. But also that's a trap and a chain right there. That's not the truth. So I'm attaching my identity to this. And then also specifically with my van, it's like I feel like that overtly shows that I'm not financially where I need to be or want to be. So that also is something that, is of the identity. But also I can't neglect, like, wait a minute, I bought a house for my mom, and inevitably she'll be able to live for free one day. And, and I cultivated an amazing space to build. And then also like that car was, me not getting into debt, like that car really helped that. And then like, but also there's something there of like, why do I even need to share that to you? It's like, so it's weird, right? I need to let go of all that, but I don't need to. This is my journey. It's all okay. Loving and open-heartedness. And then also too, like, certainly the debt, getting rid of that, and like I want to adventure. I want to do the shit that like I want to reinvest in my life again. And it's like building the business. So I like those two things too: business income, online business income, and then certainly getting my personal finances back to where they were once before, before I bought my property, let's say. And just like getting back to a space of security, because I do value personal finance, and like a lot of those principles changed my life. But also like realizing too, like it's a whole different phase of like, it really is like creating, let's say, a business or taking risk. Is like you're facing your own demons. Like 90% of it is healing the trauma and letting go of these chains. And so there's like the credit card, and then there's that, and there's like those 4 pillars. And it's like, if you think about that though, that's such a superficial thing. And it's like, so certainly it's like weird too, because it's like sharing my journey, but also like it almost reminds me of like how in another video I said like, just because the yoga studio isn't making a lot of money doesn't mean that the yoga teacher is less potent of a teacher. And it's like, so I can't neglect, like, I'm just sharing and teaching things that I've gone through and healed and done myself. That's simply it. And I guess like there's that bridge of like, trying to be perceived, but it's like, I know there's something there of just like, I need to stop trying. But also too, like, have reverence for everything, because I am proud of what I've done, what I've put out, who I am, and like myself. And it's just like, and I noticed that too, just like always, fishing for like energy, like receptive energy, and like not feeling grounded in myself, and like fishing for security outwardly. And I noticed like, that is the journey of within, of just that groundedness, like a tree. And not being swayed, because everything really is a mirror. I was just talking to a good friend of mine. He was helping me, actually. Not actually, I get help too, and I need help too. But he was sharing, everything's a mirror. It's like, you know, everything is a mirror. Everything that we believe, anything that people say is a mirror. It's like, okay, if somebody said, hey, you have pink hair, you'd be like, okay, whatever, bye. Boom. Like, it wouldn't, but like, oh, you're not doing that good. And it's like, oh shit, because of the car, because of this. It's like, you believe it. So it's all a mirror. But if you detach from that, it's like detaching from like, you are whole as is, I am whole as is. Like, I know this is my journey of just like opening my heart, man. That really is the most important part. But yeah, you know, I don't know, just yeah.